FISA court exposes Obama's abuse of the NSA to spy on Americans. Washington, D.C. The Obama White House used the most sensitive, intrusive surveillance systems of the NSA to spy on Americans. A ruling by FISA court preceding Judge Rosemary Collyer finds that 85% of the NSA database requests under the FISA Section 702 authority at the DOJ were illegal and or non-compliant. Surveillance systems including PRISM, spying on hundreds if not thousands of Americans, including Donald Trump and those around him. Moreover, Collyer finds that the Department of Justice showed an appalling lack of institutional candor. The FISA Judge Collyer rules illegal spying did occur. Back in April of 2017, Judge Collyer found that the unwarranted and illegal surveillance of American citizens was done by the highest reaches of the Obama administration for at least 4 years prior to Trump, starting back in 2012. Moreover, James Comey did authorize and allow for limitless, continuous, unlawful, and warrantless access by 3 federal contractors. Now, out of approximately 5,000 searches of the NSA database from October of 2016 to April of 2017 in the National Security Division of the DOJ, 4,250 of those searches were deemed illegal or non-compliant by the presiding judge of the FISA court, which is Judge Rosemary Collyer. And the reason was because targets were American citizens, prominent Republicans, judges, any political opponent to the last administration, really. That the abuse was continuous, frequently, and entering the same person's name over and over a period of time. Collyer ruled that this information was shared and then disseminated unlawfully to none other than John Brennan and James Clapper. I mean, I am sick of these people's names coming up. And furthermore, the information was disseminated within the Obama administration in a violation of the Fourth Amendment. This went from Obama and Brennan. The damage that was brought on to America was just sick at this next level. How is it that Obama and Brennan could get away with being so diabolically sociopathic? Sure, they knew what they were doing was illegal, all under the authorization of James Comey, who also knew it was all illegal. It seems it was pure arrogance and hubris. They were sure they would not get caught. They were sure that Hillary Clinton's election was inevitable and it would all be covered up. Their crimes buried, locked away, classified for the next 50 years. This was grave damage to our country, and every American should be pissed. Oh, I'm sure they all thought they would get a promotion for their efforts with Hillary, and when they did get caught, they fought back with treason by continuing to usurp the Constitution, undermining the incoming president with the totally made-up fake Russia hoax witch hunt, trying to cover up their litany of crimes, and staging an attempted coup against the current administration, Donald J. Trump. pledge allegiance to the deep state of America and to the banana republic for which it stands, one nation, under a Fisa court with a secret police and surveillance for all. This is what Obama must have said every morning. Folks, a reckoning is coming. Fortunately for America, we have Mike Rogers, who is a true patriot. He uncovered and stopped this abuse and reported it to the Fisa court judge. Again, this Fisa court judge, Rosemary Collyer, presented honest findings to the Attorney General and the Director of National Intelligence, DNI, outlining the specific, intentional, systematic, unlawful, treasonous, and unconstitutional nature of this abuse. She called it illegal and a clear violation of the Fourth Amendment. Illegal spying on Americans. Who are the names? Judge Collyer has ordered the court to be provided the names of every single person targeted by this spying. Additionally, information on the content of every query entered in the NSA surveillance database. Folks, once these names are made public, and they will be, a firestorm will erupt over the depth and the corruption of the Obama White House abuse of the intelligence agencies and political processes. Oh, this is going to be a huge shadow over a fraction of this country. Certain people will be gone, erased from history. And all the fake news media and pundits don't think Trump understands or knows what's going on. I think he has access and he's been looking at lots of things. He tweeted this recently. Treason. Makes you wonder. Then you got this Billy Eschner that tweeted, called me old-fashioned, but I personally think a president committing treason is worse than lying about a blowjob. Well, call me old-fashioned, Billy, but I like evidence, and I typically go where that leads. Who was Obama spying on? Why, everyone, of course. Consider the situation. You got John Brennan, James Comey, and James Clapper. They gave themselves, or are given by President Obama, the authority to obliterate the rule of law and the Fourth Amendment, and surveil without limit any person they wanted. Political enemies, members of the press, Supreme Court justices, senators, presidential candidates. Donald Trump. Starting the minute Trump began criticizing Barack Obama. This is all very unconstitutional, East German, police state tactics. Accessing their phone calls and emails, taking over their computers, duplicating their keystrokes, able to get a full readout of every website they ever visited. What porn do they watch? Are they a freaking private? What secrets do they have? A total police state. Stasi, East German style tactics. Gestapo jackboots with unlimited authority and zero oversight. This isn't a theory. This is what actually happened. So what do you think the White House did? Obama and his henchmen did exactly what it looks like they did. They used the NSA programs to spy on Americans, illegally, systematically, and for malign purposes. These are the facts as expressed by the head of the Fisa court and filed with the Attorney General. Barr has all of this. He's got the names and he knows. And also, I'll mention the Director of National Intelligence. Over 2 years ago, on April 26 of 2017, So this would have even gone back to the last Attorney General and the Director of National Intelligence and been handed over to the new heads of each department. I am not happy to report on this. I'm actually really sad for our country. We all should be. This is a really huge setback. We were all really scared of this as the intelligence and gathering of all personal information was coming up, and they were lots of congressional hearings on it, and truly worried Americans, and they promised that they would never abuse or misuse the systems. And here we have a prime example of at the worst too, at the worst level it could happen at, to a incoming president, a civilian, a non-political person, all these years didn't really ever hold any other office, and he was a true outsider coming in. And now we know this has a much bigger meaning. This is a huge thing, but a lot of us know there's even more to all of this, which we'll get into in the following videos coming up. But again, the whole big thing to remember here is Mike Rogers, all right? The hero, Admiral Mike Rogers, an American hero, an unsung hero in all of this. There will be books, movies, and he'll have a nice paragraph, I would believe, in the history books, folks. So the mastermind behind the operation, right? John Brennan, James Comey, and James Clapper. Although their names are redacted on the Fisa ruling, Comey providing unlimited access to the database for the 3 contractors who appear to have worked for Brennan and Clapper under the CIA and or DNI authority. Whatever they were doing, they made at least 40,000 queries in 4 years. That's about 10,000 per year. The whole scheme came to light when the NSA Director, Admiral Mike Rogers, was informed that continued systematic unauthorized access to the NSA databases through the FISA 702 authority was occurring. Now, he actually had access and he did a query check. He was one of the 20 people or so, or 12 people that had access to this, and he would sit down once in a while and look, kind of like at the history of a computer, to see what was being searched and how it was being accessed and the ways that they were looking to unmask. Let's take a little listen in here from this court case where he talks about this from a couple years ago.
So with respect to unmasking, the following criteria is applied. First, for the National Security Agency, we define in writing who has the authority to unmask a U.S. person identity. That is 20 individuals in 12 different positions. I am one of the 20 in one of those 12 positions, the director. Secondly, we outline in writing what are the criteria that will be applied to a request to unmask. In a report, and again, part of our process under 702 to protect the identity of U.S. persons as part of our minimization procedures, when we think we need to reference a U.S. person in a report, we will not use a name. We will not use an identity. We say U.S. person 1, U.S. person 2, U.S. person 3. That report is then promulgated. Some of the recipients of that report will sometimes come back to us and say, I'm trying to understand what I am reading. Could you help me understand who is person 1 or who is person 2, et cetera? We apply 2 criteria in response to their request. Number 1, you must make the request in writing. Number 2, the request must be made on the basis of your official duties, not the fact that you just find this report really interesting and you're just curious. It has to tangibly tie to your job. And then finally, I said too, but there's a third criterion, and that is the basis of the request must be that you need this identity to understand the intelligence you're reading. We apply those 3 criteria. We do it in writing, and one of those 20 individuals then agrees or disagrees. And if we unmask, we go back to that entity who requested it, not every individual who received the report, but that one entity who asked for us. We then provide them the U.S. identity, and we also remind them the classification of this report and the sensitivity of that identity remains in place. By revealing this U.S. person to you, we are doing it to help you understand the intelligence, not so that you can use that knowledge indiscriminately. It must remain appropriately protected.
Cons, are you ready? This is going to be huge when it hits. Coyer, the FISA court judge, ruled that 85% of the DOJ searches of the NSA database were illegal. The audit reveals that the NSA database was accessed 5,000 times. Mike Rogers found 5,000 queries in the 6-month time frame. Furthermore, 85% of those queries were illegal and or unauthorized. That's 4,250 unlawful, non-compliant queries using names of American citizens, email addresses, phone numbers, or other identifying information. They further found that the use of the databases under these illegal circumstances had begun far back as 2012. This is unbelievable. Now they're covering up their crimes by staging a coup of a Russia hoax. We know this. Folks, buckle up. I know lots of you say you're ready, you know all of this. What's the holdup? Why aren't there any arrests? That's because we're just over half the population now that understand this. 40% are still anti-Trump. They will riot, they will burn, they will kill. They will cause havoc upon this country. That's why timing is everything. Left upon POTUS. This is a taint stain on our history. As each FISA D class comes out and exposes this, from the 40% that are unawake, will drop down to 38%, 35, 30, 28, 25, so on and so forth. Hopefully down to just 15% that will flip, riot, and go to the streets once Trump starts mass arrest. This is why timing is everything. I know a lot of you don't care. You say, bring it on. You're ready to do something. But that's just not the way it works when somebody's got a plan of attack, a plan to expose and rid the evil. I don't think Trump hates the average citizen. I think he knows that they've been brainwashed by a heavy propaganda machine with, and all of that is treasonous as well. We're going to get into all of that, folks. You look into the insurrection, you look into treason, you can't really stand up and promote for laws that are already on the books. Like Trump didn't start the border wall. Trump didn't start a lot of this stuff, but you have people opposing them, and not just opposing, but you have people in positions that should be upholding the Constitution. They took the oath, and they're actually promoting on TV and getting people to rally the masses. Even with this fake story, the whole Russiagate, people were rioting when Trump won because of the stories that they had made up and fabricated and pushed and helped push along. People like Pelosi and Schumer, all of them, Adam Schiff. I mean, that's treasonous acts. If not some form of it, all right? Is it high treason or is it a lower level? Sedition, tons of these other laws. People are going away. There will be indictments. We're going to keep catering the story in for you, showing it, following it all the way down to the last person's arrest. I'm Michael. This is a Patriot Hour. God bless each and every one of you worldwide. Where we go one, we go all. Remember, no deals, just pain.